I've already taken the still photos of the vehicle with an emphasis on door panel alignment and any cosmetic blemishes that I may have picked up on. But this is going to be the second pass, and then we'll just do a quick little overview of the components. Starting off with the front bumper cover. It looks like it's securely attached. I just give it some light bumps. Just a little rash mark down there on the outrider edge. You can see a little bit of the paint peeling. The little fairing there seems okay. Some little rock chips there, but really from about 2-3 feet away, you can't even see this. I'm about a foot away right now, or just over a foot, and that's when you can start seeing that. So again, just some minor little rock chips there on the front nose. Grilled, nicely secured. Good. The lenses, don't see any signs of cloudiness or cracks or chips. Good. Door panel gaps look consistent, but I still need to review those when I'm back at my desk, and then the fins look good as well. I'm not seeing any obvious signs of repaint here. Looking at the windshield, I've got the VIN, public VIN photo of that. Here's a view of the dash. We're looking for any cosmetic blemishes or defects in workmanship or materials. So I'll do a quick scan there, and I also take a photo and look at it when I'm inside of the cabin. I like to capture as many photos and images as possible, and angles as well. The glass, I don't see any obvious chips or scratches. I just got a light coating of dust. I can wipe that down, but again, I'm not seeing anything obvious really jumping out at me. Just a quick look at the roof line as well. Nice. Don't see any cosmetic blemishes there. We're going to walk towards the front left front wheel well, starting here. And what we're looking for is any signs of impact damage. And again, I'm just trying to capture as many angles as possible. And so far, looks good. Looking at the sidewall here, it's got the Michelin Pilot Sports Super Sports, and looks like the date of manufacture is 2015. It's a 245/40 GR18. Rims, I don't see any obvious signs of curb rash, nor do I see any damage on the outside tires. Rotors look good. Don't see any obvious wear lips on there or grooves. And then there's a shot of the brake pad. All right. Here, side view. While I'm down here, I like to capture the side. Just looking for any cosmetic imperfections, waviness, chips. Okay. Outside mirror looks good. Always like to get a good look at that. Those typically get scratched up or scraped up. Good. So far, not seeing anything that really is jumping out at me. Window, again, no scratches, no chips so far. And on the quarter glass here, the rear vents, nicely secured. Okay, fuel filler, and making our way to the left rear wheel well area. Even though there's a glare on my camera here, I still have to review this, but I'm not seeing anything obvious really jumping out at me. And again, sidewalls look good. Don't see any obvious damage. 285/35 ZR1999Y is a speed rating there. Manufactured on the third week of 2018. And the rims look like they're in decent shape. Again, rotors, no obvious lips or grooves in them. And then here's a shot of the brake pad. I've got still photos of that as well. I'll step back here just a brief second here, and then we'll get a side panel view. Again, we'll start from the top, work our way down. Keep it. And I'm not seeing any waviness. I'm using the reflection in the background as an aid. Those are helpful as far as when I'm looking for imperfections in the panel. Looking at the rear bumper area, again, nicely secured. Okay, not hearing any excessive rattles. Good. Nameplate on there, nice. And a shot of the rear glass. Looks like it's got the aftermarket tint, but I don't see any breaks in the defroster lines, and that's something that I always like to check. Just a quick little overview there. I've already checked the lights and verified that they do work. The low beams, high beams work, and the running lights, brake lights, running lights as well, license plate lights, turn signals, hazards, and reverse lights are all working. Here looking at the right side of the vehicle, topping up from the roof to the upper edge of it. Again, looks pretty good. I like running my hand across the paint because I'm just checking for any waviness or just anything. I like to touch, feel, and obviously visually look at everything. Here, this is a slight little blemish here that I didn't pick up on the first run, but it's right there at the edge of the vent. All right, glass good. And let's do a quick side panel view here. Again, just using the reflections off on the background here as reference points. Right rear wheel well area. And the right rear wheel. This was manufactured in same thing, March of 2018. 285/35 ZR19s. No obvious sidewall damage or the rims. Not seeing that curb rash either. Just a little chip here, but then again, it's right there on the guard. Outside mirror nicely secured. Little scratch or scuff right there. Don't feel good. Everything's secure. Here's a view of the roof line here from this angle here, and then looking at the windshield here from the right side, looking at the fit and seam to the panel. Let me wipe down some of this dust here. Hopefully there's no dings or scratches here below that, but I'll look from the inside. Outer edge looks good. I'll be checking the operation of the windshield wipers, and then here's another view of the roof line here, and then making our way to the left wheel well area, or right front wheel well area. Again, just a quick shot. Outside tire, no obvious sidewall damage. 245/40 ZR1893Y is the speed rating there. Curbs, no visible curb rash from right now. Again, always review it. Rims look like, or rims, the rotor, no obvious signs of excessive wear. And then here's a shot of the brake pad. All right. And then let's do one final pushback view here before moving on. I get the tire tread readings as well. I'll take photos when I'm underneath and to where we can check for unevenness, but I'll just reach in and get some general readings here. All right, left front, that's at 5 millimeters there. Left rear, just below 8. Right rear, just above 8. And looking at the right front, just above 5. On this segment of the video, what I do is I capture the startup so that way you can experience what I am. Even though the vehicle's been started probably 2 times already, but ran for maybe 30 seconds to a minute. The engine's still kind of relatively cold, but it's not stone cold, right? So we'll go ahead and capture the lights that come up on the indicator. We should see all of the warning lights as far as the airbag, check engine, brake lights, and whatever warning lights will appear, and those should cycle off once it's completed its cycle, right? But here we go. Okay, start up. So I'll stay quiet here for a second. Okay, so no hesitation in the starter whatsoever, pretty much fired right up. I saw the lights come on, and I didn't see everything. I'm sure they came on, but I'll review the video anyways to make sure that they did all illuminate. And then I don't see anything click, on now. Seatbelt warning lights on. I haven't buckled in. And let's see here. Out mileage is currently at 46,953. So 46,953. Right. Let's see here. And RPM is just around, I'd say around 600, 650 or so. And looking at the PSI for the oil, and then the temperature. So I'll be sure to look at that again as it warms up, because what I do is as soon as I turn off the video, once we've done the instrument light up, I'll walk to the engine bay, and then we're going to walk towards the back of the car. Once I've completed that segment of the video, I'll shut it off, but I'm going to close the hood, and then I'm going to let it idle for at least 10 or 15 minutes. That way it can get properly heated up, and that way it heat soaks the front suspension as well. So that way when I go on the road test, if something's loose, hopefully I can hear it in the course of that drive. Because again, the road tests are only anywhere from 2 to 3 miles, right? So I try to put it through its worst condition as much as possible. I can see the heads-up display as well. That's illuminated, so I just verified the operation there, so we know that's working. And let's go ahead and walk. We're going to walk towards the rear of the vehicle, and before I do that, here's the one remote. I still haven't tested all the functions to make sure everything locks and unlocks remotely, and I'll need to ask about if there's a second remote as well. I'm not going to cover the interior just yet. So let's move on to the engine. So walking towards the back of the car, what we're going to focus on is the exhaust. We don't want to see black, blue, gray, or white. That all means something, right? So dialing in, it looks like it's burning, clean, right? I don't see anything. Condensation's okay when we see that initially, but that should clear up as well as it heats up. We're just going to dial in just a little bit here. And what I'm checking for here is just any signs of excess soot as well. So I'm trying to get a condition reading on the engine as much as possible. Right? Staying quiet here for a second or two. Sounds pretty smooth. I don't hear any backfiring, so it's definitely healthy. And we can see that condensation coming down right now. That doesn't concern me. All right. Well, moving towards the front of the engine bay area, what I look for here is I start off with the underside of the panel. One, I check to make sure that it is securely up and that the shocks do support the weight of the panel. One of the reasons I look at the insulation, or I look at everything actually, is because not am I checking for oil leaks or anything that seems out of place, but rodent nesting as well. I've seen in engine bays, they like it where it's warm, where they chew away at the insulation. If they're chewing at that, they also like to chew at wires and hoses. So I try to I do as much. Or let me take that. But let me slow down for a second here. So I get in there with a light. I try to get it in the little dark crevices as best as I can. My view's still limited, but I try to look as much as I can. And what I'm checking for is chewed up wires or hoses, oil leaks, anything, right? Anything that seems abnormal. I've already checked the oil. That looked at proper level, and I did remove the oil filler cap, and it looked pretty clean internally. Walking around the right side of the vehicle, again, we'll take a quick look at the underside. Looks pretty clean. I've got a shot of the emission sticker, and I always make sure that the emission sticker date matches that of the vehicle that was the year that it was produced. So certain things have to drive as well, not only conditionally, but there's other stuff that I check for. I checked remove the radiator cap, didn't see any signs of cross-contamination, didn't see any bubbling. Again, I got a nice still shot of the belts. And right now what we're looking at to make sure that the belts or the pulleys don't look wavy. So they look pretty solid. Again, just checking everything. Even though I'm going quickly over this, I've already viewed it prior to starting the video here. I'm going to stay quiet here for another second or two, and what I'm not hearing is any abnormal noises coming from the top or the bottom end of the engine, or like engine belts or pulley noises, so stand by. All right. Okay, so nothing abnormal now. So what I do at this point is I'll go ahead and put everything away, close the hood, continue on with the rest of the inspection, look in the trunk, the interior, do the function test, but I'll let it run for at least 10-15 minutes. And let's take one last look at the gauges before I do that. All right, so temperature is just below half, like a quarter or less. And oil pressure is maintaining itself around, I think it's around 30, 15, 20, about 25, 30, somewhere around there. All right, so we've been road testing here for already a couple of miles. Just note some of the driving conditions here. So the initial acceleration. As we come coming to the stop here, I drove it initially, so that I didn't pick up on any shimmy from the steering wheel. At the higher speeds, it was rock solid, and as well as when I stepped on the brakes, no shimmy, no shakes, no nothing. Didn't hear any clunks coming from the suspension when we went over bumps. The engine and transmission performance seemed to do well, and while we wait for this light here, I'll just talk about the electronics. I've already tested all the lights, turn signals, cruise control works, horn, windshield wipers, navigation, radio, all those little options. AC blows cold, heater blows hot. Check the heated and cooling seats. Books are in the glove box. Windows work fine without issue. And if we have the opportunity, we'll see if we can capture some performance driving on the video. At that point, I'll stay quiet so we can listen to the engine, and I'll just shut off for right now.
Capture some of it right now.
Yep. Okay. So here we go. All right. So we're gonna make a U-turn here and start making our way back to the dealership, but we should have the opportunity to get on it one last time here. Yeah, I definitely see some open road. Here we go. Good, and I was paying attention to the steering wheel to see if I saw any shimmy or anything like that, any drivability issues. It accelerated well. No issues with the transmission. Didn't hear any slipping or lack of performance. But we're back at the dealership here, so I'll just shut the video down now.